The coffee is black. The robot is very, very frisky. And I'd like to welcome you to the Thursday, July 3rd edition of Modeling Blog Daily, where Bill just kind of rants. Recently, I built a wonderful model from Lego. It's the first Arctic model that I built. It's a Lego Arctic 6520, and I really am drawn to these snowbound models, and I want to tell you why. When I was in the military, I was in the Rangers. I was in the military, by the way, between 1972 and 76, active, and I was also in the National Guard. But when I was in the active Army, I was in the Rangers at Fort Stewart, 1st Battalion, 75th Infantry. And we had missions all over the world, but one of the training missions we had one time was up in Alaska, north of the Arctic Circle, up by Fort Greely. And we jumped in. We left Savannah, and Stewart's outside of Savannah, and we flew by jets all the way up to Alaska and jumped into 40 below zero weather with our snows, our snowshoes, our skis, our Mickey Mouse boots is what we called them, and then we had an exercise on the ground for a week or two. I mean, it was quite an exercise. So I'm really drawn to the wilderness in the winter. And recently, when I had my stroke, I had a stroke, and some of you know, one of the recovery things that I did was I built Lego, and that's what cured me. Building Lego and mechanics cured me of the stroke, and I get better every day. I'm normal now, but I could hardly talk before. Anyhow, when I was in the hospital, when I was recovering, I read all that I could get a hold of on the Arctic and everything about the Arctic. And when I came across this kit, it really is true to life. Number one, they have these mobile outposts. In the 30s, when they were building up Little America, they had wooden modular housing that was probably the first modular housing that was ever made. And they took them down to the Antarctic, not the Arctic, the Antarctic, and they used tractors just like you see here to haul them inland, and then they dug trenches. They don't sit these things on the surface. I mean, some of them they build structures on the surface. Here I got a picture of a book, and you see the snow. They had snow dogs and the huskies, and you could see they have the smokestacks coming from the buried houses. That's what they do. They bury these things in the ground, and then they dig a whole bunch of trenches, and then they dump these structures in the ground. And then between the structures that are buried in the ground, they have a tunneling system that's reinforced with wood. And then with the dogs, they would take the dogs. In Little America, they had something called Dogtown. They had a Dogtown tunnel where they had the dogs, and that's where they stayed, in their little tunnel. And everybody was under the ground. They had a couple buildings that were above the ground, and but most of it was buried under the ground. You can see how there's the flag and everything, but it's all because of the wind, and when you're below ground, it's still cold, but it's better than being above the ground. So when the reason I'm bringing all this up, I've been informed from my emails. I know there's a lot of you that have this kit, and it's a cool kit. It is a way cool kit, and it's very realistic. But you don't realize that back in the older days, at least, what they did is they dug trenches and they buried these. and they even had garages for the tractors underground. And I showed you a picture in here. For example, even the modern Southern Command for the United States in Antarctic has a geodesic dome. But see how the entrance is underground? It's all, the whole main structure is underground except for the dome. Except for the dome. And that's just the way they did things. I think it's so cool, though, that they have pictures in this series. They have pictures in their instruction manuals on the, the different, the dog sleds. And one other thing I want to bring up before I close this out. Obviously the polar bear is so cool. I mean, this is the probably the only kit you can ever get a polar bear in, and it's just the coolest little polar bear I ever saw. The other thing is it had these little hoods. I know that a lot of my fans out there that watch this, they collect Lego just for the minifigs. Well, you can see I got a minifig here. He's cutting a hole in the ice, but this is the thing that really gets me. He's got this parka that goes over his. Isn't that really neat? And they have the sunglasses too, and they not only have the parka and the sunglasses, but they also have a different color. And they have the snowshoes. So this is a wonderful kit, and I would highly recommend it. If you can get it, you're only going to find it at Bricklink or on the eBay, but grab it because it's a lot of fun. It's a great build. It brings back for me some personal memories. Anyhow, Bill and Red saying sayonara on a Thursday morning. Have yourself a great day, guys. See you later, alligator.